Hi there, I'm Trucker Ray, and before we get to our presentation, I wanted to share with you a new way to contact me. That's right, I finally got a post office box. A lot of you have been sending emails and leaving comments on my YouTube channel, and that is awesome, but I know some of you still like snail mail. So, if you have something you'd like to send, whether it's a card, or you want to buy me a cup of coffee, or whatever it might be, this is where you send it. P.O. Box 12306, Langley, RPO, which stands for Royal Post Office, Logan Creek, British Columbia, Canada, V2Y0Y7. That's P.O. Box 12306, Langley, RPO, Logan Creek, BC, Canada, V2Y0Y7. Now, if you're ready, let's get to our presentation. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon or evening, wherever you might be viewing from. My name is Trucker Ray. Welcome to my channel. If you're viewing for the first time, I travel the highways of North America, and I love to share the gospel of Yeshua. And if you've been here before, welcome back. It's great to have you here. We are making our way into the winter season. We're still in fall. Can't tell that from here, of course, because we're out here in Hollister, California, and it's just stunning out here. It always is. I've been out here for the last day and a half, just enjoying the beautiful sights and waiting for a load to become available, which was today. I knew I was going to be loading today, and we have a little bit of a treat for everyone. I am going to be loading out of Salinas, which is about 50 minutes from here, and it is going to Toronto, Brampton, Ontario, Toronto area. And yeah, I hope that's exciting, because we get to see some sights we haven't seen in a long time. We're going up Donner Pass and then on to the 90 and right across the country pretty well. And then once I'm done with that, I'll probably be coming back across Canada, unless they send me south, which I don't know yet. I have to find out. But yeah, it's going to be a really great trip. Like I said, if you're here for the first time, welcome. I am a Christian truck driver that likes to share my faith and what it's like to be a Christian truck driver out here on the highway. No, I don't bombard you with it constantly through the entire video, but you will see a Bible break later on, and that's something I've been doing for a while. And no, I'm just a driver that's not afraid of the gospel. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. I'm not. I don't mind sharing it. And I know people come and go. People they sign up. They say, "Oh, here, look, this looks interesting." And as soon as I talk about God, they're gone. I see it constantly. But it doesn't matter. I'm not here to entertain people, or should I say, I'm not here for views. I'm here because I enjoy vlogging what I do out here, and I'm not afraid, like I said, to share my faith and what God is doing in my life. And I got to remember that we are in California, so 55, right? So used to doing the other highways. And yeah, the speed limit is very limited here. So, but anyhow, I really do hope that you all enjoy this presentation. Feel free to subscribe if you're new, and yeah, make sure you hit the notification tab and receive all the notifications when we upload these videos. yeah, so I'm heading to Salinas right now. I have 2 picks. One to Dorrego, which I know that place very well, and another one that's probably not too far away from it, because Salinas is, all the picks are generally right in the same area. It's probably not even, I wouldn't be surprised if it was on the same road as the other one that I'm going to. So there you have it. There you have it. We'll make our way over there. Like I said, it's only 40 miles to go. We'll get over there, and our first appointment is for 12, so I'll check in when I get there. Because I do have an app on my phone, so I don't even have to go up to the window. I just have to do it right from my phone, and I can check in right in the parking lot. How do you like that, eh? Just about at my first pick. As you can see, it's another beautiful day out here. When isn't it, really? I think once in a while they get some rain. It's not a bad place either, because it's right off the ocean, and you get a lot of cooler weather here. But the funny thing is, whenever you come into Salinas, the first thing you smell is produce. You smell it everywhere. Because that's all it is out here, is fields and fields and fields of produce. So this place on the left is where I am going, and like I said, I have an app on my phone that will allow me to check in without even having to go up there, which is kind of cool. Speeds up that process. They have a scale on site too, which is really nice. And it's a massive parking lot. Last time I was here, it was an all-day thing. So I found out my first pick is 1 o'clock or something. That's if it is. And my next one after that is 6:30 p.m. tonight at Dandy, which is another place. So I'm guessing that's going to be an all. I'm not even going to get out of Salinas today, I don't think. Not going to happen. I wonder if that guy's going to just go on and off the scale there. I'd love to weigh this truck to see what it weighs. But he's on his phone. I'm sure this trailer's fine. Some of our trailers have been holding extra weight. There's a Key West over there getting loaded. You never know. Maybe I'll get loaded early. Let's see. Can park it right here. All right. Can't see what truck that is over there. Alright, I'm just going to check in with the app, and then, yeah, we'll see what happens here. Well, friends, I am on my way. Those picks went real fast. As a matter of fact, the first one, they had me in and out of there really quick, and then the other one was just down the road, and nothing to show you really there, just back into a door. And my other appointment was not supposed to be until 6 p.m. Well, look what time it is now. I got in there like really early. So I was able to get in and get out, and I didn't even think I'd even be moving today, because a lot of these places, you just sit for a long time. So I'm actually very happy about this. And yeah, I have plenty of time to get to where I gotta go, so I'm just gonna have a short day again today. Why not? I'd rather make my way through Sacramento and that on a Saturday anyway than on a Friday. So I'm just gonna shut it down and relax. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Can you guess where I'm going? I bet you know. That's right, I'm gonna stop at the Casa de Fruta. I figured, why not stop there? Park it there for the night. It's always such a nice, relaxing sleep. I love hearing the roosters in the morning. Yeah, it's nice. Peacocks. So yeah, that is about it, friends. So we'll make our way over there, and then we'll reconvene in the morning for 4 days of driving to get across the country. Well, good morning, everybody. I am back at it indeed. I grabbed my 2 picks yesterday in Salinas and made my way back to Hollister because I really didn't need to go any further because I got lots of time to get to Toronto, so I figured I would just relax for the rest of the day. And that's what I did in my favorite place over at the Casa de Fruta there in Hollister. And I am on my way. We are on our way to the Toronto area. We're looking at 4 days of driving, 2,713 miles to go before we get there. Roughly 4 days of driving. So yeah, we're going to be good to go. We'll be running into hopefully not. I've heard it's supposed to get a little chilly, a little. It's supposed to be a little nippy. Might run into some fog. We might run into some rain. We might run into some snow. Maybe some frost. It's gonna get colder. I know I'm in California, but I've got my sweater on. I got my jeans on. Don't have shorts, because I know it's going to get cooler. As soon as we go over Donner Pass and get into Nevada, we're going to feel the effect of fall real fast. You get a little bit carried away when you're out here because the weather's like this all the time. It's beautiful and it's just so nice. And then you start heading east, and then the reality kicks in. We are on our way, and I love driving through this area here. Yeah, this 152 is a beautiful route. It really is. It's gorgeous. But another reason why I didn't leave yesterday is because I would have been right in the middle of rush hour, probably going through Sacramento. So I chose not to go through Sacramento. And I just laying over in Hollister. So today is Saturday, and hey, why not? Should have a lot easier time with traffic, hopefully. See what happens.
This is Trucker's Corner with Trucker Glenn.
Hey everybody, it is Ray Gaucher with Trucker Glenn. Trucker Glenn, how are you?
I am wonderful.
And this is the Trucker's Corner, and today we're going to be talking about what?
Winter.
Are you ready for winter?
And are you ready for winter? I know I am. I got my armchair by the front room window there and my hot chocolate, and I'm going to watch the snow come down and think about everybody out there and what fun they're having.
Yeah, you'll be one of those guys that'll take your chair down to the highway down there and just watch these guys go by.
Yeah.
So on this particular video, we're going to be talking about just how to prepare for the winter, because it's coming. It's going to happen sooner than you think. And let me ask you something, my friend. Right around this time of the year, we're thinking, okay, first of all, we're going to have to put our chains back on our, on our trucks. We're going to have to equip ourselves. What else is going through your mind, knowing, like, how soon in advance do you mentally prepare for winter?
Well, like you say, September, it can come anytime in September. Actually, May long weekend on, I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah. But I would say that this is the time of year where you get surprised a lot. You could be running in 70-degree weather, and the next day it's blowing and snowing so hard, like a freak's cell will go through, and you're caught with your pants down. And so you got to be ready to not only mentally, you got to get mentally ready and have a good mental attitude. But there's a lot of things, like you and I can help the guys out with little things that you can put into your truck that a lot of guys don't even think of. And number one, of course, everybody thinks of tire chains and cross links. You got to have some extra cross links just in case. And one of the things when we were talking about this, you brought up, and when I was talking, I said, I bet a lot of the guys don't think of airline antifreeze. And you had a good solution, because you asked me, how do you put it in there? And I said, well, you hold the hose like this and you pour, and you probably spill more than you get in your airline, and you can't get too much in there, otherwise the brakes will stay on. But you had a really good idea. What was that?
That was, you go to, you know what, I was also someone shared this with me, I can't remember if it was my friend Dale or not, it might have been him, that you go to a dollar store and you get the small little to-go a condiment packet, 2 little bottles. They have like a little coned top of it, right? And they're just small, and you can buy them at the dollar stores, and you just top them up. And the nice thing is you just loosen the lid off a bit, and it'll fit right into the glad hand hole. Yeah. Because when you try to pour that stuff in, as you know, it goes all over the place. Sometimes you have to take, the rubber right off. And then, but that, you just top it up, and then you stick it in and you squeeze it. They probably won't last very long, maybe through a month or two after using them, because they're going to be cheap. But if you go to the dollar store and grab them, they're like the little condiment, little to-go little
like
kits.
A little mustard or ketchup bottle that you use.
And they have a little cone top to it, like kind of like the French's mustard or whatever. It has that end. You can even use something like that.
And just a side note, guys, like I said, you don't put too much of that stuff in your airline, because your airlines were, I think they call it hydraulic. They'll hydraulic on you, where you can put the brakes on, but you can't get them back off again. So you got to be careful. I've never had that happen. I just heard guys that know way more than me say that. But like I went up north one time. I think I was around Burns Lake or somewhere way up there. And
was that in BC?
In BC, British Columbia, north, way up north. Anyways. And I was having trouble with my brakes, and I was pulled over, and the guy said, "Did you have any brake line antifreeze?" And I said, "Is there such a thing?" So he gave me a gallon jug, which I thought was very nice of him, and he said, just put that in and, pump your trailer, your spike 3 or 4 times, like full application, and it should clear any of the ice that's in there. And of course, a good thing to do, I know there's a lot of air dryers on the trucks now, but it's still a good idea when you're going to sleep up overnight, just open the tap on your wet tank just to get all that stuff out of there. And that's a good habit to get into, whether it's wintertime or not.
Yeah, and don't set your brakes.
Yes.
Don't
yes.
touch your brakes. Okay, so why don't we first of all start out with what is a good idea to, as a visual, what do we need to do to make sure that truck is ready to go out on the road in case we run in, for the winter weather, like
tires for one.
Okay.
If you're going out there with summer tires or tires that are ready to be replaced, you can be guaranteed you're going to be chaining up on every little hill and nook and cranny because they won't be able to get the traction. But that's a biggie. Electrical is another huge one. If you've got wires hanging down, what's going to happen. The snow's going to pile, and airlines too. Make sure everything's tied up the way it should be, and not hanging. How many times have you seen airlines hanging down in a trailer? Mm-hmm. And of course, when you go through snow, the snow piles up on them, and they end up pulling the lines off.
And they're supposed to be 14 inches off the ground, right?
Well, yeah, but I always like to have them up so they're not going to attract the snow. If they do, they're not in that hang down position. You should try and have them up as much as you can, like vertical.
That's kind of hard to do when you're in the U.S. because you're always sliding those axles back and forth. So I mean, you can have them up to an extent, and then you have to go to California, and then they're all hanging down. So I mean, I guess before you go into the winter weather, you might have to zap strap them back up again,
or bungee cord. That's what I used to use.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as the bungee cord's new, and then it doesn't matter, you can just do it according to where your axles are. And that always worked really good.
What about batteries? Checking to make sure your batteries are in good condition.
Batteries, alternator, belts, over and above, just your regular maintenance. Yourself, if you go to start your truck in the summertime, and it's dragging a little bit, that something's not right, and sooner or later it's going to give you trouble. So you always make sure your batteries are in real good shape. I don't know if are they still sealed batteries that are on the trucks, or they still have the little caps?
You can still pop them open and look.
Yeah, and so just check and make sure that they're the water level or acid level is up in them.
They're not swelled up.
Yeah, and antifreeze for your rad.
We'll get into the jockey box in a minute, but I was thinking on the outside of it. I think another important one too is to make sure you've taken off your summer blades and put on the winter ones, because if you're going to use, I don't know how well those winter ones work. I mean, they work better than the summer ones, the ones with the little boot on there. They're apparently snow and ice is not supposed to stick to them. Well, that obviously isn't true. And I have bought other wiper blades that are supposed to be, ice is not supposed to stick to them at all, the Bosch ones. Well, that didn't work out either. They fell off mine.
Yeah, I always wondered why they didn't bring heated wiper blades out. It can't be that big of a deal.
They have them available online, but you just got to buy them and hook them up. And I think one of our drivers has heated blades. I don't know how well it's worked, but definitely change those blades, man, because that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about those little deflectors that you nowadays you can get on your truck? You just put them on the door. I just had 2 of them installed on mine. So when you're using your blades and you've got your wipers going, and it's knocking the snow and everything off, it's not ending up all over your windows and your mirrors, because now it's creating all these blind spots. What did you do back in the day, or did you just put up with that?
Yeah, we didn't have the deflectors because you weren't cool. So we didn't.
Okay.
You weren't cool if you had.
So what did you do, like when you had ice?
Well, you try and stop your wipers so that it stops in this position, and then you just reach out and just
snap
them, bang them on your. But I've done that and had the wiper fly right off.
I've broken them one off doing that too.
Yeah.
But on ours, you can't just do that, right? When you're driving, so I would reach my arm out, and as the blade made it over, I'd reach over and snap it against the windshield, and that's when I had the Bosch ones on, and it snapped right off. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I'm in a snowstorm, and I just lost my blade. So, all right, so let's talk about what we need to have in our jockey box. What do you think?
Warm gloves, weatherproof gloves, a good, I would say, I want to say snowsuit, but a good
coveralls
suit, coveralls that are insulated coveralls, because sometimes you're out there playing around with your
rain gear, I guess, right?
Yeah, rain gear. Mind you, rain gear is slippery. You could slide down the hill if you fell.
True.
I was being funny, Ray.
But it's true.
It is true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had drivers go by me and they spray slush at you because they're too close to you, and you end up getting soaking wet. So if you got something like that, at least you're protected.
Yeah.
And so good gloves and good outerwear, whatever that might be.
And make sure it's reflective so you can be seen.
Yes. And reflectors, that's another good thing, like flare, not the flares, but the reflectors, put them out behind you, especially if you're the only guy on the hill that's spun out.
Yeah. And it's not a bad idea to have something that lights up, too. I mean, I know you can get them now, and you can actually get those triangles. You can buy triangles, and they LEDs are amazing nowadays. I mean, they just... Because a lot of the time you don't see those reflectors.
I was going to say one thing. When you're getting into really bad weather, I get a kick out of these guys that hang their chains on the tail end of their truck where the lights are. Have you ever seen chain hangers there?
Yeah.
Try and get to them when your truck is sliding backwards down the hill.
Yeah, true.
You know, like I always say to guys, you know, if your chains are on the rail of your truck where they're easy accessible, make sure that even if you have a single hanging on there, that you can get off really fast and throw under your wheels, because that will stop your truck from sliding down the hill. And so that's what I used to do. I used to keep my triples on the inside and my singles on the outside, and just for that very reason, because it happened to me a couple of times, and if I hadn't had that, I probably would have lost the truck. But, you know, I was just putting my boots and my gloves on, and I happened to look up, and there's my tracks up ahead of me. I was going backwards, and I didn't even know it.
What about the auto socks? Have you ever had any experience with those?
No, I thought they were kind of a joke.
Well, actually, they work. They're very effective.
Oh.
Because you're an old school trucker. Yeah. But those socks, the auto socks, they are very effective. They stick to the ice quite well.
What about when your wheel spins? Or will they come apart?
No. Well, when you put them all on, it's almost like walking outside on ice in your bare socks. You're not going to slip. They were, like I said, if you spin your tires, yeah, you're probably going to ruin them. I mean, you got to use them differently, right? Yeah. But they are very effective when it comes to getting up an icy road. But yeah. I have six of them in my truck in case I ever need them.
Nice. Okay. Another thing, find out how to put your tire chains on. That's you need to do that in the summer. You know, we should almost have a segment on that where we should go outside and show the guys how
maybe before winter we'll do that.
Yeah,
maybe,
because boy, most of the times you're under pretty stressful circumstances, and you got to get those things on and get out of everybody's way, or like I say, keep from going down the hill backwards. But I would say that if you're sitting in a truck stop, and I know it looks funny that you're putting these chains on, and and I used to just say, you know what, we don't use them very much where I come from because it's always 70 degrees, but I'm just doing it to practice, right? And I'll give you a hand, or I'll show you how I do it, or it usually goes pretty good.
Yeah, make sure all the links are in good conditions. Make sure, you know, if you're getting into a truck, you just got hired on and there's a set of chains in there, don't trust the driver that was in there before. Go make sure those chains are in good condition, because not only is it going to leave you hooped when you need to use them, you go buy a scale, they want to check your chains and they see that some are broken. I know a couple of drivers or at least one driver in Oregon that got nailed $450 fine because the links were broken on the chains, and they're like, well, I just got the truck. So it does happen. And make sure those chains are in really, really good condition. And like Glenn said, make sure you know how to put those things on. If you don't, I mean, you could be like you could be a 5 or 6 year seasoned driver, and you're just like, I've never really had to put chains on. You may not know how to put them on. Just ask. Don't be ashamed of that.
Yeah. I remember when you first started trucking in the U.S. and you were overweight or something. I can't remember, but you were at a California scale, and you didn't know either the weights or whatever. And I said, go to a driver in the truck stop, make sure he's got California plates on his truck, because he knows all the rules and regulations, and ask him. And I don't know anybody that wouldn't give the advice to a new driver, unless, you know, the driver's being ridiculous. But But they always help me. I always say, well, I don't get the 41 feet. What does that mean? And of course they would tell me, you don't go into California without that thing set at 41 feet. And so when I loaded my truck, I always loaded with the axles ahead to the 41 foot mark.
Yeah.
So if anything had to be adjusted, you didn't have to wait till you hit the scale. But
yeah. So what else? What else can we have in our jockey box that's going to help us? Extra. How about extra wiper blades for one?
Extra wiper blades, of
In case
course.
they break.
Fan blades. You can always use blades. Don't usually that often break, but every once in a while, you've probably already got them in there.
Mm-hmm.
That and hoses in your
Yep.
from running all year long.
Yeah.
But I would say
Anti-gel stuff we have.
Anti-gel
Yep.
is very important.
Yeah.
To show you how effective that stuff is, if you buy the really good stuff, I bought stuff that was in a little tin about this big.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this is an old mechanical cat engine that I had, and I had the hand throttle pulled right out, and it was barely moving. So I went into the gas station and I said, "Are you got any fuel line antifreeze?" He said, "Yep, here's one." And I said, "Well, I want to get out to the truck before it quits running." So he said, "Only pour half in each tank." So unfortunately, I went over to the passenger side and I poured half in there, and I didn't even have the lid on, and that engine started to scream. That's how fast that stuff worked. I couldn't believe it. So when you're in 30 below weather and that, the gas line and airline antifreeze is really important.
So what actually happens, for those that don't know, to the fuel when it starts to get cold? Why is it considered, does it gels up?
Yeah, it gets just, and it gels up, it gets just like Jell-O. I've seen it in tanks where it's unbelievable. I wouldn't have believed if I seen it. That was an extreme circumstance, but yeah.
It clogs up the lines.
Oh, it'll clog it right up, and along with the ice doesn't help either. But
so the anti-gel thins it out, it dilutes it, and gets you going again. A lot of the stuff that I have in my box, I have the 911, 911 stuff. It's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, and in a situation where your tanks are already gelled, I don't think it would do any good at all. You probably have to get it at a shop and get it heated up. But
if you're going to be going into a very cold climate, put it in before.
Yeah.
And then again,
there's a lot of condensation in your fuel tanks, and not to mention sometimes you're sucking up water at a fuel place.
Yeah.
So somebody told me if you see them dumping fuel, don't fuel up. Wait till the trucks go. Wait till the next day, because they disturb all the moisture in the tank.
Yeah, that's a really good point. There's a lot of companies, or should I say, a lot of truck stops on the northern parts of the USA and of course in Canada that already have treated fuel. However, if you go down into California and you've got a load, say, of produce, and you're heading to Calgary with it, well, that's not a very good analogy. Well, I guess it could, because once you get into Montana and parts of Nevada, it can get very, very cold. Even if you're fueling up, you're not going to have treated fuel in California. They're not going to treat that fuel. Put your 911 or whatever you're using in there at that time. Also put it in your reefer too, because your reefer needs it. So that's good to have in the jockey box. What else can you think of?
I'm thinking of food rations. Lots of times you'll need. Yeah, lots of times I've been out of food because I think, I'll eat in a restaurant and I'll shop later. But just something that keeps and doesn't, it'll keep you going at least for a little while. Yeah. Good rubber. I don't know, Ray.
I would say good rubber boots. You might want to have a scraper for your windows. I always just say have a little extra of everything, even though we make sure you have the right washer fluid, the stuff that won't freeze. Like, get rid of your your summer washer fluid. It's not going to be any good to you.
No.
And just top up on all your fluids. Make sure you have extra hoses just in case something bursts or something goes. But and
I was going to mention before, make sure you got the proper amount of antifreeze in your rad, because that'll freeze up too.
Yeah.
You know, it's so it's always an idea before you go. Just get your mechanic or the guys in the shop to check it for. Most of the time they do it during services, anyways. But I mean, you could have blown an airline between services and just had to put regular water in it. But that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, just try to think of the scenario. What happens if I break down, and why would I break down? And like Glenn said, make sure you have the proper stuff that's going to get your lines going, your brakes in case they seize up. So just and if you're
and the reason I said to have an insulated suit or coveralls is because if your truck does quit running, you got to stay warm. And so a good hat, a toque. Here in Canada, we like toques, eh? And warm gloves, warm boots, like the fur-lined boots, because lots of time helps. You know, it might be only an hour or two away, but boy, oh boy, when a truck shuts off, it gets instantly cold.
Well, I'll quickly share with you a story. I was running with iHaul, and I was coming from Lethbridge area, and I was making my way. I picked up this load in the U.S., and I was making my way into Calgary. I don't know what the temperature was. It had to be minus 45. It was so cold. It was insane. And I previously had an issue with my rad hose when I was down in Phoenix. It got fixed, and when I got into Calgary, it went again. Just before you're on the Queen Elizabeth Highway, just before Stony Trail, it goes again. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I can absolutely back up what Glenn just said. I didn't have like real heavy duty winter gear because we're so used to driving down. We just came from, winter had just started, and this was one of those storms that hit Calgary, and winter was just starting. I really thought I was going to freeze to death in that vehicle because my heater bunk wouldn't work. I couldn't. Coincidentally, my heater did not work in my bunk, but because the hose went, I couldn't start the truck. I couldn't get any kind of heat. I really thought I was going to freeze to death. That was so cold. And I remember on one of my videos, I showed that. I'm like, this is insane. And when the guy showed up to repair my hose, I asked him to sit in his vehicle because I was so cold. I was shaking. And make sure you have, like you said, like you were saying there, maybe have a little duffel bag or some little bag that you have inside of you and stuff it somewhere in your truck or on top of your bunk or in your jockey box where it's an emergency gear that you can wear just in case it really gets cold. You can get those little pockets that you can put, I don't know what they're called. I call them hot pockets. You put them in your gloves.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And you can get those at any of the surplus stores. And
I was always thinking that, I don't know if you ever remember them. There were there were tent heaters, and they were about this big, and about this round, and you used the kerosene in them. Right. And
that's not a bad idea.
You got to have a lot of ventilation, of course, because it's and those things throw off an awful lot of heat, and they don't take up any room to store them.
Yeah.
And that might be an idea too. I don't know if I ever used one or not in the years that I was trucking, but.
I have like a grill. It's like a hot plate grill that I can boil water on, and it just has a little kerosene thing, whatever. And you put it on there, and it's like a little burner. I've never ever used it, but I know if I ever run into that situation again, I've got some heat for a while. So
we froze up. My partner and I, we were on double at the time for Reimer, and we were in northern Ontario. And at 65 below, we froze up.
Wow.
And I want to tell you what, 65 below was a real experience. And luckily, we had a car that was following us, and he saw we were in trouble. We had a wide spot that we pulled over. And we said, we froze up. And he said, well, we were only, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 miles out of one of the major towns that has a truck shop there. And he said, I'll take you down there. He says, jump in. And so we had to have the truck towed in, but by the time everything thawed out, because they put it in the shop overnight, I'll bet you it took 2 days for that stupid truck to thaw out. It was incredible.
Wow.
So the cold is, I mean, you can say what you want about hot weather, but it takes a special bunch of experience to truck in the cold weather.
One other thing I wanted to mention too, and that is, even if you have not had issues, with your bunk heater, before winter hits, it's never a bad idea to ask your mechanic at your trucking company to do some maintenance on that thing. And it's just really the only maintenance, these things conk out all the time, and it always says requires maintenance. It's basically the fuel line, which is so thin, it's thinner than a straw, and it just needs to be cleaned out. They flush it out and it's good to go. Maybe get some maintenance done on your bunk heater, again, your batteries, just things that are going to sustain you. If your vehicle has a APU unit, or whether it's electrical or if it's diesel, again, just ask to have maintenance done on that so you're ready to go. Most companies will be happy to do it.
Yeah, those units are easily overlooked when they're doing everything.
Sure they are.
Nobody really thinks about them until they need them.
Yeah, so be prepared out there, and we'll probably be doing a few more shows regarding winter once it starts. And Glenn is back from his cruise.
Yes, I wore my I was going to put a cruise ship in the background, but Ray said I couldn't.
Yeah, so you're looking forward to that one?
Yes, I am. It's
you'll be thinking about me while you're on up against the buffet and eating your food overlooking the beautiful water. Yeah,
actually I won't, Ray.
No, I'll
be thinking about anything but what's going on out here.
Well,
but anyway, no, I will think of you. I'm just bugging you.
That is so nice. I hope to see a 10 because you look like a ghost.
I look a little anemic, don't I?
A little bit.
Gonna have to tell my wife to start feeding me more.
Yeah. Well, friends, excuse me. If there's anything winter related that you would like Trucker Glenn to address, or any other subject, send your emails to truckerglenn10@gmail.com, truckerglenn with the number 10@gmail.com. He will reply to you, and we'll get it on a future episode of Trucker's Corner. Trucker Glenn, thank you again. And anything you wanted to finalize with?
I was going to say, when we do the video on putting chains on, I'll hold the camera and I'll be the commentary.
Oh, sure. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we'll do that soon. We will.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, before we really, really need it. I mean, we still got a couple more months before it really kicks in. So, absolutely, we will do that. And I think that'd be
just be prepared for the surprises, guys, because this is the time of year where you're going to get surprised, because a lot of times there's no rhyme or reason why it's sunny one day and a blizzard the next.
I would say, if you have an opportunity, prepare your truck now. If you have it, don't procrastinate. Don't leave it till later. And I think this is our cue, because I'm losing my voice here.
Right.
All right, everyone. Okay. Thank you very much for viewing Trucker Glenn. A pleasure as usual, and as always. And I hope you enjoy your cruise.
Yes, I will. Thank you.
All right.
Good luck out there, guys.
Blessings in the name of Yeshua, everybody. Until next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
I could leave that on for a little bit. Helps you see me a little bit. Good morning, everybody. I am just starting my day. I made it to Wells last night from Hollister, so I did 617 miles, which was good. It was a good day of driving. Can't argue with that. So, yeah, very happy with that. How about we go back over the scale? Backwards. But Ray, it says do not enter. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm defiant. So, yeah, good morning to all of you. Like I said, 617 miles yesterday, which was good. Wow, I don't know what the deal is, but I went over to park at the Pilot because there's obviously never any parking at the Loves, and as you can see here, everyone's just all lined up along here, which is totally illegal, and they'll come out there and give you heck for parking there like that. But a lot of the time, there's not a lot they can do. I mean, especially when guys are boxed in like that. Look at the, looks like we're gonna have a really nice sunrise. But I woke up this morning, 1 degree Celsius, so it was a little chilly outside. I got here literally with my needle almost on the E. I didn't mean it to be like that, but that's just how it worked out. I mean, it wasn't right on the E, it was above it, so it wasn't right at the bottom of the tank. You never want to let your fuel get really, really super low, because then you start grabbing all the dirt and everything on the bottom of your tank and shoving it into your fuel filter, and that's where you end up with problems. So I think I was halfway between the E and the notch there, but still I don't like to get to that point. Yeah, I shut my fridge. Yeah, I did. Put my little child lock on the fridge, because the fridges in these Freightliners are terrible. They'll just flop right open on you while you're driving down the road and all your food falls out. Tell you one thing, I am not used to going this way. Normally I will go either that way or that way. So I was parked over here, just one up from the scale over there. You can see that oversized load. I was basically parked right in behind him, and this whole parking lot was full. I don't think I've ever seen this whole lot full like this. I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh, guess we can actually turn the heat on. Hey guys. Haven't used the heat for a while. Ooh, even the TA is packed. Wow, like what's the deal with that? There wasn't any bad weather and nothing. Well, that's always a good sign. That just means that there's a lot of freight moving, and that's wonderful. There's too many stories of drivers sitting around waiting for loads. I mean, I've had my experience of that. Get some dust on me. But you know, that is what it is. All right, so if I did 617 miles yesterday, and I could have did more, but because I had to crawl up Donner Pass, I was restricted to 55 miles an hour going through from Hollister all the way up to Truckee pretty well in Nevada. I was kind of restricted to that, and the hills and everything. We're going to be on more flat land today. I got a feeling we're going to do a lot better today, so I'm hoping to put at least a good solid 700 miles in today and cut some time off the clock. Now, I'm telling you what I'm having to do here. Because my delivery is at 3 o'clock in the morning in Brampton, Ontario, I think it's on the 22nd or the 23rd. I think it's the 23rd. That means I'm going to have to do my delivery at 3 o'clock in the morning Pacific or Eastern time, which means that's going to be midnight my time. So probably tomorrow morning, just to get myself used to the schedule, I will start my day. Well, you know what? No, that ain't going to work. If I start my day later tomorrow, that means wherever I'm going to be parking, which is probably going to be right on the East Coast somewhere, that's going to really limit my parking opportunities if I get there too late. So I think I'll just have a regular day today, regular day tomorrow, and then tomorrow, then the actual fourth day, which I'm sorry, I know I'm sounding confusing, I'm going to get up much later. That way I have more of a clock to work with when I have to do my delivery at midnight. So that's my plan anyway. That is the plan. But yeah, I just have not been this way before in a long time. It's been, I can't remember the last time I took the 80 right across here. So this is going to be fun. It's going to be nice. Maybe I'll even make it to the Iowa 80 that one night. You know, I may end up making it to the Iowa 80. Yeah, take a little quick look here on my GPS. I might even make it, because I'm going to make it right around Cheyenne, a little past Cheyenne tonight. And then I'm going to have to go through, I'm going to stay on the 80. I'm going to go right across. So, anyway, we'll figure that out later. I don't want to mess with that while I'm driving. So, guys, hope you enjoy the view today. good morning, everybody. I am just starting my day now. Made it out here to Sydney, Nebraska last night. Thanks to the help of my friend Susan. She told me about this little spot here because I was starting to run out of miles. I was past 700 miles on my trip yesterday, and I was going to go a little further, and she told me this spot here has a lot of truck parking, and in fact it did. So I was really grateful. Thank you again, Susan, for that. So yeah, had a good rest. Parked in the back of the dirt lot back there at the Loves, which is plenty of parking back there. A lot of craters though, my goodness. They need to get some kind of a grader in there, because that's going to be nasty when the snow hits. So yeah, can't complain about the rest. It was good. So today I got a task ahead of me. I am making my way. My destination today is going to be the Iowa 80. I wanted to go there anyway, but that's where I'm going to end up, because that's going to give me 600 and almost 700 miles from here, almost. And then from there, I don't know where else you can really go after the Iowa 80 that I'll be guaranteed a parking spot. At least the Iowa 80, you're guaranteed a spot there. If you can't get a spot in there, that's either during the truck show or there's a major storm or something. Maybe it might fill up, because you got a Pilot and a Flying J there. So Wolcott, basically where that is, if you can't get in there, there's an issue. So I will have enough hours to, or should I say enough time to get to the Brampton area from Wolcott, Iowa. So that's what I'm shooting for today. I hope you enjoyed some of the scenery yesterday. When I'm driving along these stretches, I don't say a lot. I hope you guys don't mind that. It's nice to add in a little song here and there. And I just like to drive, especially around these areas, these flats. And well, I wouldn't say it was totally flat from Wales to here. There were the hills to deal with. So I'm really hoping maybe to even well, I'm not going to really do any more time today, because I don't really know if there's any real spots after that, after the Iowa 80 there. I may be able to stretch another half an hour, but it would be nice to be able to get a little bit further, but I'll see what happens. But in the meantime, let's continue on the I-80 on day 3 of our trip.
Well, friends, I'm stopped at a, sorry if it's a bit windy. I don't know how much of that you're getting, but I've stopped at a rest area here, just on the east side of the Iowa border. Nebraska-Iowa border where it meets up, but we're more on the Iowa side. The first rest area you hit when you're heading east. It's kind of where we are. And just stop for a break, get something to eat. But it's giving me a chance to really enjoy the leaves, the scenery. It's gorgeous here. The leaves are all starting to come down. Still quite a bit of leaves that haven't changed color yet. One tree that's really caught my attention, and I think it's that maple over there. Look at the nice vibrant red colors on that tree. Beautiful maple tree. That's what that is. I hope to see a lot more of that on our way through Michigan. It's really warm here too. The wind is blowing, a nice warm wind from the south. I wonder if that wind was coming from the north, if it would be that warm. I doubt it. But I just have my food, and when I see an opportunity like this to enjoy a little bit of God's beautiful creation, you know me, I'm up for it. These are the places I like to stop for my resets, or even stop for the night, because it's so much better than a truck stop. It's just gorgeous. Oh, just smell that. Oh, it reminds me of my childhood when you smell leaves in the fall. This is my absolute favorite time of the year. I love watching the leaves fall. I love the smell of the leaves when they, as funny as it sounds, when they start to decay off the tree, when they start to dry out. They have a really interesting smell to them. Completely reminds me of my childhood. There's another tree just glowing with beautiful colors, another maple tree. Well, I wish I could stay here longer, but I got places to go. I got another 3 hours to go, I think. 3.5 hours. I'm gonna get past the Iowa 80. I know I said I was gonna stop there, but I gotta get as close as I can and use up every minute of my time, and I'll probably have 40 minutes left on my clock by the time I get to the Iowa 80. If I have that much time, I gotta keep going. And I know there's a truck stop. It might be past Davenport, I can't remember, but it looks like that it would be the one that I need to go to, so I have that extra time tomorrow to get to Brampton. I took a longer 30-minute break than I really need to. But you don't learn to relax and enjoy your job, then it starts to feel like a job. When doing a job 9 to 5 and you're heading home then you can conduct the rest of your life, you got a chance to wind down. But when you're out here on the road, as much as I am, you really need to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, and enjoy your time out here as much as you can by stopping at a rest area like this and just taking a little bit of a walk. I thought the rest areas in Montana were nice. These rest areas in Iowa are really nice. They're clean. They got an attendant that's right there taking care of everything if anything gets dirty. Just beautiful. Beautiful countryside. Hopefully that wind wasn't crackling the mic. I'm sorry if it did. But man, what a nice little stop that is. I don't know if we'll get a chance to stop at another one because the next place I'm going to be heading to, like I said, oh, maybe I have 5 hours left in my day. Okay. I thought I only had 3 hours. Yeah, right. Oh, well, that's okay. I'm still enjoying it. So the next little area we'll be going through is Des Moines, and I'm hoping by the time I go through there, all the rush hour will be done. Hi everyone, I am Ray Gaucher, and welcome to this edition of Bible Break. If you're listening on our podcast or watching on Truth and Testimony or on Life on the Road with Yeshua and Trucker Ray, it's a pleasure to have you here with me today. Today is going to be a bit of a shorter Bible break, but to the point. First of all, I want to thank Adrian Scott for all the work he's been doing on Truth and Testimony. Because we branched out the Bible Break to Truth and Testimony, I think he's been doing a stellar job. What do you guys think? I think he's been doing really, really well. Thank you again, my friend. My dear friend and colleague,
Well, today I wanted to do something a little bit different. Normally I'll get into the Bible and I'll just read something and I'll share with you. But I was listening to a sermon recently by John MacArthur, and I want to make it very clear. There's no plagiarism going on here. I want to share a little bit on what he said in this sermon. And the sermon was called, "You Are What You Think." And it's all about recommitting ourselves to the Lord. And I absolutely was just blown away by this sermon. And it really made me think, this is something we really need to do. And the title of this Bible break is, Should We Recommit Our Vow to God Yearly? I don't know, daily or monthly, but yearly. Something to refresh. Just, it's almost like every single year we do our resolutions. Oh, this year I'm going to do this different, and I'm going to do this different. And husband and wives, they will renew their vows every 25 years sometimes. But I think with the relationship that we have with the Lord, we should really do this every year, I think, anyway. You can even somewhat do it in your mind daily. But to really, really seriously get in there and recommit yourself, and because, you know, maybe you don't, excuse me, really need to recommit yourself every year. It depends on who you are. It depends on your circumstance. And I, for one, have decided to do that myself because I've been struggling with some things in family, been struggling with some other things personally in life, just personal matters. Nothing like, I would say, that would threaten my salvation, but to the point where I'm just not satisfied where I'm at. And it's like, you know what, I think it's time for a recommitment, to renew my vows with the Lord. And I'm going to read off some of the pointers that are in that sermon that really caught my attention, and I'm going to just discuss them a little bit with you guys. And like I said, the description to the sermon is in the description below. I really think, or should I say, the link to this to the sermon is in the description below. And I really recommend that you watch it and listen to it because it's amazing. It really is. So first of all, I wanted to start off with reading out of Romans chapter 1, or should I say chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, to lead us off, if you will. But first, let's open up with prayer. Dear Lord, Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to speak on your behalf, to share your word. And Lord, please, would you allow me to just convey and say everything that I want to say with complete truth and accuracy. And I pray that everyone that's listening and watching would be blessed. In Yeshua's name, amen. And that's one thing that myself and Adrian Scott always say, is that please do not take our word completely for it when you hear something. Test it for yourself. The Bible tells us we ought to test what others are teaching us. So, Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good. What is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. This is a sermon in itself, right there. That you present your bodies a living sacrifice. And this is all gonna work together with this sermon, which, again, is absolutely amazing. Because we need to remember something, and these are bullet points from the sermon. And when you hear the sermon, you're going to hear John MacArthur touch on this. But I was just so amazed by the wisdom that God has given this man that I really had to share this. So the first bullet point he mentioned was remembering that we are bought by the blood of Christ, and it coincides with Romans 12. When we gave our life to the Lord, when He sacrificed Himself on the cross, and remember, He did sacrifice Himself on the cross. It wasn't something that He was not willing to do. He did it willingly because the Father requested it. And How many people do you know that would sacrifice their life for you? I know a lot of parents would sacrifice their life for their children. So it is doable. I probably would have done it if it would have saved my kid's life when they were younger. So I know it's doable, but it's a really tough decision. So remember that we were bought by the blood of Christ. He owns us. Christ owns us. He is our shepherd. And it's not a bad thing. I know it sounds like slavery, but technically we are a slave to God. And I would rather, and remember, back in the day when they did have slaves in biblical days, not during the days of the 1800s when they had slaves and, or maybe it was the 1700s as well. I don't know. I haven't done my history. But anyway, when they had slavery in the USA, that was tragic. It was terrible what they did to those people. But in biblical days, when people were slaves, they actually did enjoy their masters, if you want to call it that, because they were treated well. They were treated like one of the family. They were one of the families. And a lot of the time, and every 7 years, the slaves were given an option if they wanted to leave the household. And a lot of them said, no, I like it here. So they would stick around. And that's the same thing. I am a slave to Yeshua. And I like it here. And I don't want to go back to where I was before. So, first thing, remember that we were bought by the blood of Christ. Second, we need to renew our vow of obedience. And when was the last time that we did that? When's the last time that we actually renewed our vows of obedience? To really say, you know what, Lord, I've been doing things my own way for the last little while, and I really need to renew my vow to you that I'm obedient to you and not to government, not to anything else, not to selfish desires, selfish needs. And when I say government, I mean going against our principles. Of course, we still need to be respectful towards what government asks, but if it's something immoral, I think we should stand up for that. Our second one, or third rather, remain faithful to biblical convictions. Stand firm in the faith. That one's important. We need to remain faithful to biblical convictions. When we see convictions in the Bible and we see the laws of God and what He asks out of us, what He requires out of us to say that we are a child of God, that we need to remain faithful to those convictions, because that really does make us who we are in Christ. All right, fourth one, recognize all sin as a violation of a relationship with God. This is a big one. Recognize all sin as a violation of a relationship with God. You shall be holy because I am holy, the Lord says. Every iniquity is a violation against God. No sin is too small. No sin is too small. Well, I just did this, and I said this lie, and I said this, and I took this pen when I shouldn't have taken it. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't steal thousands of dollars. You know, I didn't murder or anybody. All sin is a violation. All sin is a violation with our relationship. And as we continue on, this will coincide with another bullet point. Number 5, render love to others always. Our lives are to be marked by love. Render love to others always. And this is a tough one for me, because sometimes I'll get a little bit frustrated at certain things, and it's really hard to love people. Especially when they're opinionated. You're opinionated. I mean, you don't connect, you don't agree. It is very, very easy to not love someone. And to love, we are showing Christ in us. We're showing the Holy Spirit that's in us. And I will say this, I'll say one thing. When you are in an argument, a disagreement, whatever it might be with somebody, and you show them love out of it, and not, a response of anger, and just a response of anger, it's really hard to argue with somebody who's just, showing love to you. How do you argue with that? How do you how do you get mad at that? It's a very quick way to diffuse situation here. Next one. Cherish the effects of adversity. This is amazing. Cherish the effects of adversity. So, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're loving people. You are being obedient towards the Lord. You are listening to what the Word of God says. You're in the Word of God daily. And you're just, things are moving forward. Just don't look at it and go, okay, that's nice. Cherish that. Cherish the blessings. Cherish how you feel. Cherish the joy that you receive from adversity. That is important. Recognize it. Absolutely recognize it. Recognize the effects of adversity. Even make notes. Hey, this is happening, and recognize some of the blessings that you have. It's wonderful. All right, the next one. Retain the full function of your conscience. This is a huge one here. Retain the full function of your conscience. Your conscience warns you of spiritual damage. And this one goes with recognize all sin as a violation of a relationship with God. You shall be holy because I am holy. Every iniquity is a violation of, against God. So, how do you prevent that? Retain the full function of your conscience. Get it back. Get it back, because our conscience warns us. It's like what John MacArthur said in his video. Our bodies, when they are sick, will give us indications of pain to share, to notify us and let, hey, something's wrong here. You need to get it fixed. When our bodies are in pain, or there's a sharp pain, or something's just not right, that is a warning. That is an indication that something is wrong. So our bodies give us a little bit of pain or a lot of pain to let us know something needs to be looked at. So retain the full function of your conscience. Make sure your conscience is clear. This is so important. Our conscience is like the pain in our body that warns us something's wrong. Our conscience tells us, hey, something's wrong here. This is going to be spiritually damaging to you if you do this. And how many of us have actually still went ahead and did something stupid right here that our conscience said don't do it? And then what happens? We deal with the consequences when it does happen. And I, for one, am living proof of that. And the final one, excuse me, recognize the supreme purpose of your life. What is the supreme purpose of your life? The supreme purpose of my life and any other believer is to serve the Lord God with all our heart, all our mind, and all our soul, to be obedient to Him and everywhere, to share the gospel and to show the love of Christ, to be a light in this world. That is the supreme purpose of our life. How many of us forget about that during the day, during the hustle and bustle, and when we're at work, when we're driving down the highway or the interstate or wherever we might be, walking around to a coffee shop and someone bumps into you, or somebody says something that you don't agree with. Or I find that a lot of things that I deal with now when I'm talking to certain people, because it's so close to election time in the US, people literally are at each other's throats because of a political difference. And I think that's wrong. We should never be at our throats for political reasons. Shouldn't be like that. Because whether you like the individual that ends up in office or not, God still appointed them to that office, because God is in complete control. He's in full control. If He put that person in office, there's a reason for it. That may not be a very good purpose, but God uses people for His planning, for whatever reasons. We can't possibly understand it. Like I said, you may not agree with whoever's running for office. You may not agree with whoever wins that office. If that person's in office, they are there for a purpose. The Ayatollah in Iran, some might think, why would God want that man in office? Because he's terrible. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing to Israel. God has a purpose. He has a purpose. Maybe the terror that's raining down on Israel is judgment, because I love Israel. I love the Jewish people. But there's a lot of things going on in Israel that are just very, very unclean. and especially in Tel Aviv. This could be judgment that's coming down in Israel. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying God has a purpose for everything that happens. All right, so again, I want to thank you very much. I wanted to just encourage you to go to your quiet place, maybe jot down a few things in case you forget, and let's renew our vows to the Lord during this time of the year. Let's renew our vow to Him, our commitment to Him. Just, yes, Lord, I've done all these things and I repent of these things, and I just want you to know that you are number one in my life still. Even though I've gone astray or I've got distracted by this or that, just go to Him. And I always find that if I'm in an area where there's nature around, trees and that is wonderful. And just, why don't we all do that? Renew our vows and our commitment to the Lord. And remember what Yeshua did for us on the cross. And show that person that you see today, whether you're walking by them or it's a friend, smile. Let them know that Yeshua loves them. And again, I will put the link to the video, the John MacArthur sermon, underneath. Please check it out. I think you will be blessed. Until next time, everyone, God bless you all in the name of Yeshua. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Bye for now. And good afternoon to you. I am just about ready to get on my way. I'm just finished my pre-trip, and I am at the Road Ranger over here in Princeton, Illinois, just off the I-80, and not a bad place. I had no issue finding any kind of parking here last night. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of parking in this lot. It's quite a bit of parking along the 80 as itself. I wanted to get as far as I could. I made it here with 1 minute to spare last night. I kid you not, 1 minute to spare. But overall, I was very pleased with this stop. Like I said, lots of parking, easy to get into stalls, relatively quiet. The Road Ranger store inside was pretty clean. They had decaf coffee, which was nice. And the bathrooms are reasonably clean. And yeah, this was not a bad place to park. Not a bad day out here today. It's sunny, it's gorgeous. And I'll remember this stop because it's actually conveniently right off the interstate. So if I leave in the next 5-10 minutes, which I'm planning on doing, I'm just gonna pull up to this pump up here. As funny as this sounds, even though that's the exit, I'm gonna wash my window. I'm hoping to get to the Toronto area there by about 1:30. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I did look at the reviews over on regarding the place I'm going to. They're not good. I could be sitting there most of the evening. Well, when I get there at 3 a.m. I could be sitting there all night, right until the early hours of the morning, or late hours of the morning rather, if I could just say it what I want to say right. So but it is what it is. What do you do? Can't really change anything. I've made it into Detroit. I have indeed. It's been a long trip, but we've made it up to almost to the border crossing, where I will be crossing over the Ambassador Bridge into Windsor, Ontario. I figured I'd drive in with you a little bit here, take you right over the bridge. Haven't said much today, just fighting traffic, going through traffic, but we are almost there. And then I'll be jumping on. There was a Corvette. Not wasting any time with that throttle. Detroit! Hello! Yeah, that's a low bridge, 1310. Another one, 1310. We're just getting under there by a few inches. Woohoo! Yeah, these are all low bridges. Yeah, you don't want to be coming around through under these bridges when you got a load that may be a little higher or may be questionable. Yeah, so I would say overall the drive today has been not too bad. I didn't lose a whole lot of time. A little bit with the traffic. Oops, somebody's in the shoulder. Not good. Hurry up, buddy. Get out of his way. Okay. It's the last second thing there. Bridge to Canada, 1 mile. And they also have a tunnel that goes underneath. I've never taken that. But I prefer the bridge. Not a huge fan of going into tunnels underwater. Always get that risk of it collapsing on you. But the bridge could cave in too, Ray, I suppose. I suppose. But yeah, you have to admit though, what do you think of the colors of the trees there? Making your way into Michigan. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Right along the early parts. La 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 la. So this is the way we want to go. You missed this turn and you got a problem. Take that corner too fast. Alright. I'm gonna pay attention to this. I haven't done this for a while. See there, tunnel to Canada, bridge to Canada. So you got two options here. Get into this lane over here. Yeah, not terribly absolutely 100% familiar on all the routes, so you still got to follow the GPS. I don't come down here enough. So that's where the GPS comes in handy. A lot of guys are like, oh, I don't need it. I don't need a GPS. I just stick my finger out the window and that tells me where to go. All right. You don't do these enough. Don't do the route enough. It's easy to make a mistake. Bridge to Canada, 1 mile. And the Ambassador Bridge. I wonder if they're still doing all the construction on there, because the last time I went over the Ambassador Bridge, they were doing just that, construction. Oh, it's all lit up. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? I think he'd probably enjoy that. Let's do it. So how the customs works, in case you guys are new to this, is you go over the bridge and then you have customs on the other side of the bridge. Yeah. And it is a toll bridge, which means they'll send you the bill. Oh, do they still have construction going on this bridge? They shouldn't still have it. And you can get fuel here too, which is kind of cool. To top up your fuel just before you go into Canada, because the Canadian prices for fuel is insane. I do believe you can even park here if you wanted to. So there's the toll here. Once I get to the other side, I'll pull up my manifest and everything that I need. All right. This is where they nail you. Smile! I don't know how much the toll really is. All right, so we'll head over the bridge. Actually, you know what? Some people even get a little squeamish going over this bridge because it's really high up. You don't really notice it at night. I'm not afraid of heights. So that doesn't bother me. As a matter of fact, I get a real rush when I see heights. And we should be able to see the city over there, Detroit. You know, right over there, straight ahead, guys. You may not be able to see much of it though, because a little bit of it over there. Downtown Detroit. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, that's nice. Too bad. Wish I had a camera facing that way. And they got no construction on the bridge. Look at this. Does not look pretty. When I came through here last time, they had this lane blocked, and this one was very narrow. They had concrete barriers coming up the side here, so you were literally almost scraping the side of the bridge. And I wouldn't be too surprised if a few drivers hit that rail or lost their mirrors. So on this side you got Detroit, on this side you got Windsor, on this side Windsor, Ontario, and this is where we come up to the wickets. And I think this is one of the biggest border crossings. I think this is the biggest one in Canada. This one right here. And you'll see what I mean. There are lots and lots of wickets. I don't know how many they'll actually have open at this hour. So this is Windsor right here, Windsor, Ontario. We're in Canada now. La, la, la. So normally when you go around here during the day when it's really busy, you'll have someone out there guiding you on which one you should go in. I don't think we'll have that out here now. I'm just gonna choose one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which border crossing wicket should I go? Fast Express, no, I don't want that. So we're just gonna go to this one. And this will give me opportunity to get my manifest and my passport out. Because that's all you really need. You just need your passport and your manifest. The only thing I don't like about this is that whenever I cross the border, I like to grab my I like to put my passport and everything away before I continue so I don't forget where it is. And there's no real options on the other side to do that. But during the day when it's really busy, like right now it's like almost 10 o'clock at night. There's barely any vehicles even coming through here. During the day, this place is packed. It's a major border crossing. Alright, so I'm just about ready to go through. I'll see you guys on the other side. I don't like to run the cameras going through here. We've made it into Brampton, and I think that's the place I'm going to right there. And I bet you it's going to be an ugly mess in there. I don't know which way I'm to go in. It's been a while since I've been here. I do believe that's the way here. That's if they even let me in early. They might make me circle the block. Who knows? There's an entrance right there. Hopefully there's a staging area. Oh, I'm gonna have to get my paperwork out. This is almost like a Costco setup here. Oh, you know what? I think I've been here before. Oh, I think I have been here before. I'm trying to remember the routine here. I can't remember. I can't remember, but I do remember this place. I think the last time I came in here I had to pick up an empty trailer in here. This could be interesting. I'm time is it? Yeah, I'm a little bit early. Well, I'm about an hour early. But I have definitely been here before. This isn't a very friendly place to... Oh, yeah. The last time I came here, I was with I-Haul, and I came here to pick up an empty. In this case, I'm delivering, so... And apparently they take a very, very long time to get out of here. We'll find out. But I got a feeling I'm going to have to put on a safety vest. So I'm going to beat them to the punch before they tell me anything. That is usually the routine at these locations. Safety vest. That's a lot of paperwork. All right. Hello. How are you? Ray? Ray, R-A-Y. Alright friends, I'm finally finished here. Took them 3 hours to get me finished up. Man, I'm tired. Apparently there are 2 cases were missing from one of the pallets. And the guy says, yeah, there's 2 missing. And I'm like, well, don't look at me, I didn't take them. Like, what am I gonna do with it, right? I can't stand that. You park yourself on the back of there, back of the sleeper, and you get some sleep, and they come rattling on the bloody side of the sleeper and waking you up. These 2 guys wanted to inspect me. I'm like, this guy already did. Let me get out of here. Oh man, it's not a terrible situation in there. It's just that you drive all day and then you got to sit here literally, and you can leave by 6 a.m. Yeah, it's a little tiring. Whew. So right now I am gonna head over to an en route location. It's, you call it an en route. It's kind of like a rest area on the side of the off the highway. It has a lot of amenities in there, like fast food, coffee place, and all that. 24-hour place in there. And I figured I'm gonna time this where by the time they're done with me here, I'm going to head down to there, and there should be truck parking in there, because there's going to be a lot of guys leaving there heading towards Toronto to do deliveries. So there should be some open parking spots over there. So that's where I'm going to head now. Alright. See if my plan worked. I had to go up and turn around and come back because I know I'm going to be heading back into the area to get a load, so I figured I might as well get on the rest en route station on the southbound side. So let's see what kind of parking I'm going to end up with. Oh, they're doing construction in here too. Oh, this used to be all truck parking in here. That's not a good thing. That means they may be all on the other side. A lot of guys come in here early in the morning and get their coffees, so there may not be a spot available. I may have to park myself on the side and wait for a spot to become available. Let's take a look. That guy did not know how to pull in properly. Plenty of room there. He's going to have his trailer sticking right out like that. See, this is what I'm talking about here. There, that guy. Is that guy leaving? Could that be? Really? Oh, beautiful. Okay, there we go. I just got my wish. Beautiful. That couldn't have been better timing. Thank you very much, pal. Excellent. This is actually a good little spot here too. This is an excellent spot. Yeah, you guys might remember me parking here before. I parked here before when I was in town to do a delivery. See where the line is. Right there. Yeah, this turned out excellent. Wow. Oh man. I am tired. I'm tired and I'm hungry. But unfortunately, there's really nothing. The coffee shop in there, Tim Hortons, they don't really offer much of a breakfast. Yeah, they have bagels and everything, but they never put any butter or anything on, and they slap it together so fast. It's not made with any TLC whatsoever. I've got toast in my truck if I want to make some toast, but I'm just tired. I just feel like laying down right now, but I'm also thinking about maybe just staying awake. I got 2-3 hours of sleep while I was sitting over there. Maybe I'll just sleep a little better and then have an afternoon nap or something. Maybe I'll do that. Well, friends, I am going to wrap up this part of my west to east trip, and I'm going to continue it on the next video and probably call that east to west if I'm not heading south. So I do hope you enjoyed the trip up here and just the adventure of coming up here. That way I can get this particular video that I'm doing up a little bit faster for you. If you are a first-time viewer and you'd like to see more of this, I do encourage you to subscribe. Hit the little bell notification so you receive all the notifications. And also, please like the video if you liked it. It does help the algorithms, helps other people find the video, and maybe even, if you could, share it with somebody else who enjoys this sort of thing as well. Thank you all again for viewing, and blessings in the name of Yeshua. Until next time, bye for now.